Dylan Arco, I love you. You queue with me all the time. I got Nightmare on this.
All right,
Yep.
Jerry.
I'm also going to back Nightmare here. I feel like they've just got that edge. When it comes to threes, we know who the kings are. It's them. So yeah, let's see how it goes here on Fangwai City. Exciting new map in this season of the finals, and I'm glad to see it. It's so much fun to play, Artie.
Jaggers has decided, this is Jab, not Jaggers, and Jab has decided to stick with HML here. So Arco doing what he can to just keep up appearances on Light. This is going to be Grad's moment,
Grad on
but
the
we have the
BFR.
Titan. The BFR Titan, and that means that given the fact that Jab is playing Light, that means that it's very dangerous territory for Arco. Because if Lasagna and Grad are able to clap with the CBO1 and the BFR, Arco is dead.
You say that as though Arco hasn't just played an entire couple of seasons up against the BFR Titan in ranked, in lobbies, whatever. Obviously, it wasn't really in the competitive meta because of the bans, but now, I feel like he's going to be well equipped to deal with this threat. Of course, though, it does limit all of their team's movement. You can see
Here's
here,
the
Jab,
double movement.
they're stuck.
Here's a double movement for Nightmare. They got the zipline, they got the jump pad, they're gonna be padding all the way on top. The double RPG is gonna land. The damage is being chunked through, but Jab, they withstand a little bit. Not enough. Brendy's out, Jalen Vance is out. This up to Dylan Arco, and unfortunately for Arco, there's an SA-1260 with his name on it. That's Nightmare winning the first team fight here. And that is why HHM has been dominant in threes.
All I got is trees for you.
You can see as well, Lasagna and Lamp on top of this. They've got they've got the Grad and Lamp and Lasagna with the BFR Titan and the Repeater are going to be absolutely terrifying if they hold any sort of distance, any sort of height. This poke meta is going to be, well, jabbing Jab in the backside, in the front side, every which side. They're going to have to deal with their approach really carefully, especially with such a glass cannon as Arco on that Light.
Oh, and not only that though, but because Grad is on winch, I mean, if Arco just gets anywhere near winch range, it is dangerous territory. Now, we are
so do you play far or do you play close? It's pick your poison for Arco.
Exactly. That's why it's so good. You have so much survivability with the double domes. You have so much space you can create with just having the winch, also having the mesh shield as well. If you go too far, mesh shield. If you go too close, you're going to get winched. And for NTMR, I think, they're just playing on this drop right now. C4 is going to detonate there, and they still have a double RPG ready to go. Another C4 set, and that's what we love about Fangwai City, is the fact that this verticality is so easy to play with. So there's another level they have to drop. Jab is trying to look at the top, see if they can maybe find where Nightmare's holding from. They've already dropped another floor. They're doing the same song and dance yet again. There's the next drop, and now one more. They're going to drop down yet another level, but this time, NTMR, they're swapping height up to one more. Jab, this time they know there's not another C4 on it. They're going to try to bait this out there. Then Lamp on the other side of that goo with the RPG out. We know he could chunk out a little bit of damage just at any point, but Nightmare, they're just kiting. They're holding this fight as long as possible, Jerry.
Narco's struggling to have any meaningful effect here. All of the targets so healthy, so chunky. And Brendy isn't, or rather Lasagna isn't giving him an inch. That's the target for Arco at this moment. Is that medium? Can he dent the survivability of this HHM comp? Doesn't look like anyone's really making this contact. Nightmare can kite away to their heart's content here. Finally, Jab. They just have to stick it with about 10 seconds left on this
Oh,
army.
the winch gets blocked, and here we go. Lamp is inside the domes. He goes out. Grad now trying to find his way around there, but the dome has been too much. Jalen Vance takes them both out. They were able to guide them to the point. Lasagna, he's still up. He's not going to be able to do enough damage. He's not able to stop the steal, and Jab gets the steal. I didn't see that coming from at all. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. So when the issue was finally forced, Jab just out-brawling Nightmare. I didn't see that coming. You didn't see that coming, Artie.
No,
and at the very end there, we had Lasagna, the last one standing. In past times, a single medium up against the last second steal, you think maybe they can get the goo stall, but I don't think Lasagna's running goo.
No, and at the other side of it as well, the whole stall potential is that you have the C4 for the drop, and then you have the winch for the grab. But
yeah, you don't need more
Man's
stall on
dome
that
stopped all of the winch power, and that forced Lamp with SA-1216 to dive into the dome, where there was Brendy giving those full heals, and because of that, Jab found their way through the one weakness.
All right, now, that really did feel against the run of play. It felt like Nightmare were dominating. They won that first team fight. They were stalling so well, kiting effectively. Now Jab have the upper hand in this third place playoff. And Nightmare exert control here. They do have the box in hand. They're going to move on over to A. Of course, it feels a bit like regular Soul, where you have this one massive building in the middle of the map. Turns the whole map into a bit of a donut. Makes map traversal a real sort of push and pull, a tug of war, if you will. But here is that push right now as Jab go in deep. Lamp once again finding the better of Jalen in that straight up heavy versus heavy fight. Brendy at least takes out his opposite number. No medium up here for Nightmare. They don't have heals. Lamp and Grad, two heavies. They're not going to have time to fall back and regen. Arco hunting them down. Now it's only Lamp left. Jalen gets brought back up. 1 versus 3 here. Surely Lamp stays unnumbered. Arco taken out though at range. Somehow winning that fight against the light with the SA-12-16. But
the
being
C4
chased down hard.
Jalen's down to half.
Surely Lamp doesn't win this, but they don't know where he is. He's landing damage, but finally, Jab get the final punch. And that was almost some drawn-out heroics from Lamp, but Jab will get that cash-out started.
Wow, I mean, just kind of crazy to see that coming, that, you know, Jab just decided at the very end of that last cash out, hey, we know how to deal with this now. And then they just won 2 team fights in a row after getting decimated off the rip. So this is great. I mean, for them, you know, now they have the upper hand to hold this out. But this is where, you know, to answer Rio's question before of like whether or not one of these comps is better on defense or offense. Well, the best part about the HHM comp is being able to dive onto a point and just hold out for dear life on this cash out. One heavy throws the dome. As soon as it gets glitched out, you have another dome ready to go. And no matter what you choose, whether or not to use the mesh shield to just prevent damage, or you use the winch to catch out somebody that's going to drop onto the box, this is what HHM is meant for. So this aggro approach, both domes get glitched out immediately. The drop is going to trigger here. And Lasagna, trying to get a little bit early damage, but Brendy is taking the brunt of it as Lamp and Grad just look for their moment of entry. But as Brendy repositions, Jalen Man's going to be repositioning on the roof here as well. You see Arco trying to find his off angle, and there it is. Going to chunk Grad almost all the way out. Lasagna safely behind this too. Going to force Jalen Man's out of position. He is going to go down to Grad immediately. It's a 3-on-2 situation, and Nightmare has taken control of the box. Now they can just play their kiting game.
Brendy and Arco need to call this in. They need to try and get some kills on the approach, but the kite away from Nightmare is too strong. They've managed to find that position. Brendy does get the back up to a 3 versus 3. Only about 20 seconds left on this box to get the kills, get the flip, and do this in 2 cash outs. But Grad finds Arco. That's the light dealt with, and it's just going to be a murder on the stairway. As right here we see Nightmare doing what's needed. Lamp closing down Jalen. Lamp lighting up the kill feed, and that's a wipe onto Jab. You're going to take it to a 3rd cash out, Ardy.
Yeah, the moment that Jab's dome landed was when I realized that Nightmare had that in the bag. Just because the fact that for Jab, the last time they got that steal, it was all about the dome. It was all about that timing. But this time, Nightmare, they just manipulated that cash out to get a little bit more space. They just kind of destroyed that whole laundromat building around it. And that was more than enough that they needed. Now we have all 3 here spawning in the middle, right in the plaza, underneath the sky bridge. Cash out D situated all the way over on the palace, and then cash out C is going to be part of the other side. Curious to see where it's going to go. I love this map. This is the first time we're watching a comp game on Fangwai City. This is
it's so good.
An absolute treat.
It really is. Arco looking to try and flex some of that range capability, but he is up against a BFR Titan and a repeater, so you might want to be a bit smarter with that. Jalen protecting his team there with that mesh. They look to close that distance, but Nightmare have free reign on this box. They can take it all the way to C. They're not going to get it plugged early, though. They want to win this team fight. They're holding up in this central building. Again, Jalen looking to close that distance, enable his lights. The fight is only a few seconds away here, Ardy.
There it is. Grad just looking for early space there, especially getting this height. Gonna be able to get a nice headshot onto Jalen Mans, but gonna have to back up to get those heals from Lasagna just momentarily. Jalen and Arco on their way back up. Arco eats an RPG just barely. Jalen Mans and Brendy trying to find opportunities for damage, but because Nightmare's holding this top row position, it's so hard for Jab to even find the right angle.
Loving this movement from Jalen. He's really maximizing the use of this mesh shield to protect his team. But at the moment, Nightmare still holding ultimate height. Oh, a nice C4 out there to almost bring down Lasagna, but he holds his footing, holds his nerve, and stays afloat. Could have been costly for them. Needs to protect his life here. He's possibly the MVP in terms of Nightmare, who they want to keep protected. He is the president. He's got to keep his heavies healthy.
I'm pretty sure we've said every letter in the
Yeah, probably by this point. Lots of acronyms, lots of initialisms.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Oh, here we
double
go.
domes hit.
And a double dome to start the initial battle here with Nightmare, but immediately traded through. Grad just chunking it out. As soon as Nightmare finds the opportunity to deal that damage, they're going to be able to collapse in on it. Doesn't matter whose dome it is. Jab goes down, and Nightmare has Vault 3. We're headed over to the Botanical Gardens.
A beautiful set of gardens it is as well. Already it feels as though this area of the map has lodged itself in my memory. There's something just so playable about this map. You know, it feels like it took me ages to learn Sister Horizon, ages to learn Kyoto even. But actually, no, Kyoto may be another exception to the rule. But this just feels, it maps out so beautifully, Fangwai.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially given the fact that you and I have, we got to see so many iterations from this map all the way in December when we got the leaks up until now. It's been great. But you know what is also great is Nightmare's positioning up on top of the box with Grad Lasagna. Now the winch heavy and the medium on heels, that's the core. And the mesh heavy, in this case Lamp, this is basically playing as their light player. He's looking for the opportunity to get in and pinch somebody that goes out of position. Just because they have that little extra survivability with that mesh shield. Now the glitch is going to be dedicated early on, and Jab, they dive over the point. A glitch barrel meets them halfway through as well. Jalen Man's chunked out to half HP, and as Jalen and Brendy both go down, Arco, he has to run away so the team has enough time to coin back in. There's only one good team fight left, and Arco has gotten out of there.
Nightmare storming through Jab at the moment. Like you say, one last chance here for Jab to deliver a haymaker to Nightmare. He's going to take that. So smart to have that glitch barrel prepped. It really just put a massive bumper on Jab's attempts there. Nightmare need a bit more foresight now. We've seen Jab take one bite of the cherry here. Now that they know Nightmare's set up, you see Grad clearing these trees, making it just a little bit clearer for their long sight lines. They need this Titan. They need this repeater to find some early damage on the approach here. Here comes Jab. Can they close the distance? Can they get it into that brawl with only 20 seconds left on the timer, Artie?
I mean, they've done this before, and they do it again. It looks like Nightmare is more than ready, but nobody on Jab gets near enough to the point to start it in time. That steal didn't even get attempted as Lamp and Grad take out Arco and Brendy. It's just up to Jalen to at least save face here, but it's Nightmare who wins the very first final round 3v3 in the comp scene in 2026 on Fangwai City, and that